We're at day 8 of the Secret Spirits Scotch Whisky Advent Calendar 6th edition 2019, day number 8. That's almost 1/3 of the way through, as there's only 25 days. This is the 8th one, so 1/3 of the way through, and I've got about 8 or 9 dirty glasses. Yeah, so I got to start washing glasses real soon because they're getting dirty. And these ones are, well, they're not too bad, but there's still a few spots on them from, I don't know, they just gather spots as I go through the day or the night, as the case may be. Give my palate a cleanse. I have the bottle here to sample. I'm going to open it and pour it into a nice clean Victoria Whiskey Festival 2016 glass, Glencairn glass. It's got a lot of fingerprints on it, but the inside, I assure you, is clean. That's the important part. And hopefully we'll be able to see some legs and things as we go through this. Oh, there's the 8th sample. I will put it down and try and get every drop out of there. Oh, look. Look, we already have some little bubbles around the edge there, around the meniscus. That's a good thing. That means it's probably high ABV, cask strength kind of thing. Let's do a little bit of moving things around. Let the whiskey creep up the sides of the glass so that we can get some legs happening, or lack thereof, as the case may be. And let's have a look. There's a nice edge right there. And big drops. Big drops hanging to the side. Moving quite slowly. Huh. Oh. This has big fruity flavor. It could, because it looks a little bit reddish, have a sherry cask finish. Or it's aged in sherry. This year there seems to be quite a bit of sherry going on. I don't know if it's first fill, but there are some interesting notes happening. Could be European oak, because I'm getting that dark fruits and chocolate right away. Dark fruits like raisins and dates and figs and prunes, and there's some vanilla, some caramel butterscotch. I'm getting more of those sherry notes. The chocolate, oh, lovely dark chocolate. Huh. And vanilla, quite a bit of vanilla. Going by what I saw on the legs, do that again, shall we? By what I'm nosing, and by what the legs look like, We could be at the 48% mark. 48, 49, 50. Got some tannins, and I'm also getting a kind of a marshmallow note right now, which is not unpleasant. I like it. If anything, this advent calendar is giving me a crash course on sherry, because you can see the sherry there. And now we got a veritable northern lights of legs coming down. Look at them just shimmering down there. I like the nose on this one. Marshmallows, like I'm reminded of campfires and putting marshmallows on a stick or on a long fork and roasting them on the fire. Then you got all those sherry notes. You got all the fruits and chocolate. This is lovely. And more chocolate. And more dark chocolate. This is really piled on chocolate. Yummy. Did I ever mention that I have a sweet tooth? It's not the most healthy thing for a diabetic to have. But chocolate and marshmallows, and this is delightful on the nose. Just delightful. I wonder if the palate will follow through. Am I getting just a ton of chocolate and some of those dark fruits, and I was getting marshmallows earlier, and I'm get some vanilla. Ah. Now what's that? Now I'm getting a sort of a slight minty note. Now, is that because of the cask? Is it that because of the spirit? I haven't gone in on age yet. I don't know. I think it's a young one. But this is so delicious on the nose. I'll taste it and see what I got. I'm not getting much of an alcohol burn at all. This is very, very civilized on the nose. Okay, the palate. Let's see. Whoa. Curious. What I don't get on the nose, I get a lot of on the palate. It's strong. It's quite a bit of alcohol. Quite a bit of alcohol. I'm going to bump that up over 50. I'm going to say that's about 55. It's just a lot of alcohol. There's a lot of flavor too, but the alcohol comes on first. It's right now I can just say that it tastes sour and it tastes strong. I'm going to have another sip before I add water to it. I'm going to see if I can get something else after my palate's a little bit more used to this. It feels like it has a long, long finish. I'm getting ripe apples, and other indistinct fruits that I can't really name, but that ripe, flat apple, it almost tastes like an apple cider, which is strange for a Scotch whiskey. I don't know if it's a single malt or a blend of malts, which I'm inclined to go in the direction of. I don't think there's any grain whiskey in this, but I will try again to make sure. Still have that nice nose with marshmallows and chocolate. Now I'm getting that apple note, and after I start digging deeper, that's when I get the chocolate and the dark fruits. Some medium fruits too, plums a little bit, plums, raisins, um, and then chocolate. Probably a sherry cask. Probably. Who knows? At this strength, and it's strong. It could be port. Let's try again. Okay. The second sip is far more palatable than the first one was. There's still a tingle of alcohol, but I'm getting those fruits too. And the fruits are a little bit sour. A little sour. Um, it's like as if it was a sour kind of sherry. Like I only tried 2 or 3 sherries in my long voyage, and the one that I bought was called Dry Sack, and this tastes a lot like the Dry Sack sherry did. Who knows? Do it again before I add water. Mm, it's kind of sweet too. A lot of those vapors from the alcohol are going up my nose from the inside. And with that, I'm definitely getting a wine finish if this wasn't fully matured in some kind of sherry or port. I'm definitely getting a finish. There's a lot of wine, there's a lot of sherry, um, along with the dark chocolate. On the palate, there is a bitterness, and the bitterness and the sourness kind of hang on to give a, a long, a medium long to long finish, and just kind of hangs in there on my coats the mouth, and yeah, I'm sure it's high ABV, at least about 55% alcohol by volume. Age, I think it's a non-age statement. Could be. I think it's fairly young. Um, I would not put it more than 10 years, but I've been known to be wrong, and I could be completely off wrong here. The region, I'm tending to go towards islands I think it's islands. It doesn't remind me of a Speyside exactly, and it does not remind me of a Highland. Um, Lowland. It does. It would they put another Auchentoshan in there? No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's triple distilled. If it is, it could be. You know what? If it's actually a Speyside, which is also a possibility, it could be something like a Mortlach, or because it seems to shine on the finish, it could also be a Craigellachie, because Craigellachie has that really big finish because of the worm tubs. But I'm totally speculating here. I have no idea what it is exactly. And yeah, every sip I'm taking now reminds me of a wine finish, almost like it could be a Tullibardine. Let's add a bit of water and see what before I speculate my life away. It's hard to pinpoint the distillery. You can give general nosing notes and tasting notes. Okay, that's about 3 drops. 3 drops shouldn't bring the ABV down too much, but, and I'll also put some drops of this in there. Drops from the bottle into the glass. Okay. I have not looked at the label yet. I have no clue what this is. But we're getting closer to that time if I want to keep it under 20 minutes. Or at least 20 minutes from the intro on. You know, I'm getting even more sherry notes now that I added some water. Getting more dark fruits. Grapes. Oh, cherries. Yes, cherries. Maraschino cherries. With the chocolate, it's like a cherry blossom. I don't know if you know what a Launi cherry blossom is, but it's like this chocolate with fine ground nuts in it, and it looks like a little volcano. And inside it, there's a maraschino cherry with some really sweet cherry flavored. It's not really a sauce. It's more like a creamy sauce, and it's thick. It's a thick, creamy, viscous. It's like got the consistence of maple syrup, and it oozes out sort of pink, and some of it's pink and some of it's clear. When you bite into it, that is, and the chocolate is just heavenly. I haven't had one in several years. I will have to get a Launi's cherry blossom. I used to love them when I was a kid. I used to get them all the time when I was a kid. Like I said, haven't had any in many years. But this heavy sherry influence, even more so now that I've added water. I'm getting more of the fruits, almost as much of the chocolate as I was before. And the fruits have shifted more in the cherry direction a little bit. I'm really getting into this. You know, this could even be the Glenfarclas, that one Glenfarclas that should be in there, just because I got it right once last year. And that was a total fluke. It just the sherry was just like the sherry in a Glenfarclas that I had before, although of a different age and different vintage and different everything else. Could even be. Oh hell, I can't. I'll say Speyside or Island. I'll say sherry cask or sherry and port maybe. Oh, there's that chocolate again. That's beautiful. What's it taste like after I've added some water to it? Mmm. Mmm. Well, that tamed it down considerably. It's a bit salty. Bit of a salty note. And sort of a pear and ginger flavor now, which is interesting. Pear and ginger flavor and salty. And it seems like the dark fruits are kind of playing second. You know, they've reduced their volume a little bit and let the pears do more of the singing, shall we say. I know I'm getting into a Catalan metaphor with the concert master and the different instruments and the solists and okay, it's a metaphor. I like this. It's strong, it's got a lot of flavor, a lot of fruity flavors. Now some more of that vanilla and marshmallow thing going on. Pears, chocolate. Ah, this is fantastic. This is a really interesting dram. And I think it helps that it started out at a high ABV. I'm real curious now that we've gone to 22 and a half minutes since the intro. I want to know what this is. And no amount of nosing is going to tell me at this point. And no amount of tasting either, because I may have had whiskey from the same distillery, but I may have had a 40 or 43% ABV version of it, an entry level version of it, and this is maybe a single cask of an exceptional cask of from a distillery that I may have had, you know, a vatting from. If it's a blended malt, it's one of the most characterful. No, I don't think it's a blended malt. A blended malt would be a little bit more uniform. This one has a lot of things sticking out. It has a lot of flavors sticking out and crying, it's me here, I'm chocolate, and it's me here, I'm pear, and it's me here, I'm cherry, and it's me here, I'm, you know, prunes, for example. And each one is calling out loud, what is this? It is from Secret Spirits. It's a 10-year-old Benrinnes single malt Scotch whiskey. Now you see, distilled in 2008, cask type first fill Oloroso, 56.1% alcohol by volume, cask number 303872, region Speyside. I was pointing at Speyside. I'm getting okay at this. And I was thinking, once again, Speyside, single malt. I was pretty sure it was not a blend. I said 55. Well, 56.1 isn't all that far off. Yeah, this is very interesting. Now, I've had Ben Rennis before, curiously enough, in oh the Lost Distillery Company used a Ben Rennis to replicate. Was it Lost Distillery? I'm not sure, but they replicated a Stronach using Ben Rennis. I've also had Ben Rennis in a couple of vatted malts, or should we say, it's not vatted malts, it's blended malts. A couple of blended malts from our local Victoria Caledonian distillery. They had one Speyside blend, which was a mixture or a marrying of some Ben Rennis and some Glenlossie, which was interesting. And there are, now that I'm, but that stuff was either at cask strength or 46%. This one's at 56.1%, and it's been quite a long time since I had the cask strength. But so this is what Ben Rennis, 10-year-old Ben Rennis is. The other Ben Rennis was a non-age statement. Quite complex, quite interesting, and this shows what a Speyside can do, rather than be something like Glenlivet 12 or Glenfarclas 17 or Ben Rennis. See, I haven't had that much Ben Rennis by itself, and I don't think there is a standard bottling, an entry-level standard bottling of Ben Rennis. So if I've experienced Ben Rennis, it's been in other blends or blended malts, but by itself or as a Stronach. But as itself, it's quite nice. So 10-year-old Ben Rennis, single malt Scotch whiskey, distilled in 2008. 56.1% alcohol volume. And first fill Oloroso. Cask number 303872. That was nice. I did not expect, because usually Speyside is not my style. Usually, I usually gravitate towards Highlands, which aren't quite as sweet and not quite as fruity, but have more hay and grass and heather and honey in them, at least on the palate. Very, very nice. Thank you once again, Jonathan and Cindy. This is a real rare treat. I don't know if I'll ever get to have an age-stated Ben Rennis again, or you definitely can't find them on the shelf unless it's an independent bottling, which we don't get many of here on Vancouver Island. I want to thank you again for making this possible and showing me what really good Speyside can do. Slanchava.
Foodquig.
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 Yeah.